From ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph
Teenagers
Gomez.
can be stupid.
From ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph. Furries are the most depressed by ScotCenter News,
And you'll be responsible for all my videos
ScotCenter
turning
News,
into
I'm
hollow
Joseph.
entertainment.
From ScotCenter News, I'm
All
Joseph
jokes and no
Gomez.
punchline.
ScotCenter News, I'm
and
Joseph.
oxidation.
From ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph Gomez.
God damn
ScotCenter
it,
News,
we
I'm
want
Joseph.
this
From ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph. Burnt out and dead ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph. Steve.
From ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph Gomez.
Robin Aaron, ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph Gomez. Oh wait. From ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph Gomez.
If you come to find me affable, then build a replica for me.
I sort of have this tradition, it seems, to do some quick writings of reflection at the end of each year of high school. In freshman year, I wrote a series of promises to myself on the Notepad app on my computer. There isn't much to mention here, I deleted it a while ago. In sophomore year, I wrote a personal narrative encapsulating my trials and tribulations. It was a series of 5 vignettes, with the first being titled A Sophomore's Manifesto. My sophomore year was extremely important, as it introduced me to the chaos of journalism, the Machiavellian world of today's politics, and my potential to face my fears. The last vignette was a contrived comparison of how pain is a necessity for personal growth. Like how a match has to smolder and shrivel to light a candle, sometimes you have to burn to light your way. The third has a long and convoluted story that would take way too much time to explain. To cut it short, it started out as a letter to a friend of mine, but gradually, through about 5 drafts, turned into a 2,000-word amalgamation of a list of my accomplishments, a motivational speech, a philosophical treatise, and a bittersweet valediction. I never ended up giving that friend that letter, but I did do something with it. That monstrosity was condensed into 650 words and became my Common App essay. That essay, I felt, summed up the stressful, busy, terrifying, and invigorating experience that was my junior year. After all, we never lose our fears. We learn how to deal with them because running would get you nowhere. We just get brave enough to face them. I have no clue what this one will be about. I don't even know why I decided to make this a video, but it just seemed right. Will it be corny and cliche-ridden? Will I say anything of substance? Will it end in a bang, a whimper, or with Ocean Man, like in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie? At this moment, all I have is a title, and a few things I want to say. Dear Karl Mott, writing this has been quite the challenge. I'd even go so far as to say that this is the most difficult thing I've ever written, and for someone who thought that his first opinion video would get him shanked in an alleyway, that's really saying something. But this one is different. These will be my proverbial last words uttered at the end of the most important era of my life thus far. What more is there to say? What could I possibly say about this era which I never imagined myself inhabiting in the first place? Seriously, how did I get here? One second I was a bitter little mass English kid, the next I'm a bitter little journalism kid with awards for being bitter. What a steal! Anyway, I'm only here because of you. And now, I have to say goodbye. For a while, this day was to be considered an insignificant fantasy after years of struggle, stress, and energy drinks. That period probably lasted until the end of my junior year, when I suddenly realized that everything I'd just found for myself, the new friends I'd made, the new passions I'd found, the new hope and ambition I discovered, everything I'd spent years building would gradually dissipate into the past. I'd be back, stuck at square one. That still makes me anxious. You see, you've given me a purpose, but in the most confusing way possible. I'm Sisyphus, and you're the boulder I push up 5 days a week, only for it to come rolling back down during the weekend so I can push it back up again. It's a repetitive cycle of recycled homework and disappointment, but we still keep heaving the burden over our shoulders as we prepare for an enemy we never thought we'd face. Adulthood. But I digress. You and I have been through a lot together. You've seen me as a naive freshman, stubborn sophomore, ambitious junior, and humble senior. You've been the constant throughout it all. Every stress-fueled, sleep-deprived, nervous breakdown, every inside joke, every frightening experience, every moment of growth, every lost friend, every gained friend, every troubled step into the unknown, you were right there next to me. So, I want you to know that I'm grateful for my time spent here. For those worksheets, assigned readings, flashcards, projects, group projects, mandatory notes, outlines, vocab sheets, and graphic organizers. They taught me not how to wisely spend my time, but how to daydream, stare at walls, and have the time of my life in the constant avoidance of homework. For the hours spent in my human bio and regular gov and econ classes. I learned a lot of new words, and it made me more popular with the urban youth. For nobody shanking me in an alleyway over a video. Yes, it's a low bar to set, but, I still appreciate it. For that annoying couple who would pop up next to me and start smooching and canoodling in E-Hall. This really didn't teach me anything, but I just think it'd be funny if they saw this. Like, get to class, or get a room, I don't care, just shoo. For every journalism period where I promised that I would get work done, but then end up talking to Ben and Kylie about fossil fires. For every math period where I promised that I would get work done, but then end up doodling weird abstract patterns on my paper until the bell rang. For every comparative gov period where I promised that I would get work done, but then end up making fun of South Sudan with Andre. For every human bio period where I promised that I would get work done, but then end up, okay, you get the point. Experiences, especially the ones had at this crucial period in high school, are what make us who we are today. Sometimes we evolve as people because of them, other times it's in spite of them, but nonetheless we still evolve, becoming stronger and wiser than the person we saw in the mirror yesterday. Whether I particularly liked them or not, most of my important experiences in my life happened with you, and with some I never would have imagined myself having those experiences if it weren't for you. Because I saw you strutting about in the shimmering lights of Chicago. You headbutted me in the sweaty chaos of winter formal, and you were skanking about on the crowded dance floor of prom. Wherever I went, I knew that you were right there beside me. You're a part of me now. A part of me I'd never thought I'd have, and a part of me I'd never want to lose. And it's because of you that I have friends that I never thought I'd be able to have, memories I never thought I'd be able to make, and words I never thought I'd be able to say.
Thank you. I'll miss you. From ScotCenter News, I'm Joseph Gomez.